Welcome to the SERVPROdcast.
She's a little ugly, but you know. Oh, I know you boys aren't podcasting over there.
Hello again. Welcome back to the SERVPROdcast, episode number 2. I am your host today, Ryan. I'm actually your only host and only person that's going to be on the podcast. Tim is up in the high desert, I believe. He might be out in Yucca Valley. And Jack is, I believe, also in the field. So I figured today would be a solo episode. Rather than have a guest on or have a conversation, I would just kind of more or less talk about one of my favorite customers, one of my favorite jobs that I've been to since I've been with SERVPRO. Now, I started SERVPRO back in January of this year, and I believe we got this call maybe in late February, early March. It was towards the beginning of my employment here. And I had just started doing social media. I had just gotten off the trucks. They had me on the trucks for a little while to kind of learn the ins and outs of the job and the industry. So I was brand new to doing social media for SERVPRO. I hadn't really taken too many pictures or done any videos or done any interviews yet, but I was excited to. And one of the jobs we got that had come in was from a gentleman named Ryan. Him and his wife and their dog, who I will get back to in a moment. They have a vacation house up in Big Bear, and I guess they were up there during the snowy season, as is, you know, I guess December through February in Big Bear. And what had happened was they have a what's called, I guess you could consider, a split level home. They had this kind of crawl space area underneath, which is more or less a basement, but it was very confined. It was in a cabin. So they had this area that they were using for storage, and they had also had the previous owner's stuff in there for some odd reason. I'm not 100% sure why on that. But anyways, there was stuff down there. They were using it for storage, and there was also a gas line through there. So somehow or another, I guess, the gas line sparked some sort of fire from underneath the house. The fire climbed up through the vents and got into the kitchen, set the stove on fire, burned up the refrigerator, burned the walls, burned the floors, burned the cabinets. It did things fire does. So they called SERVPRO of Hesperia, and I was told by Curtis, who is the construction manager up the hill, that we had this job, and that if I wanted to go get some pictures or some video, it'd probably be a cool place to go do so. So I did. I left very, very early one morning. I think I left my house at right around like 5:30 or 6 to get up the hill in time to meet up with the guys from SERVPRO of Hesperia. And I got to meet Ryan. I got to meet his wife, and then I got to meet his dog. His dog more or less forced a greeting upon me. He ran up and jumped up on my arms, and he's a really cute dog. But yeah, we looked at the damage, and mostly the concern was with water damage from the fire department putting out the fire. But there was fire damage, and moreover, there was a lot of smoke damage. There was odor, there was soot and creosote on the walls. So they had an insurance adjuster out. She was looking at it. They were a little bit traumatized. They were kind of spooked out by the whole event, which is understandable if you're in a house fire. If you've been in a house fire, I'm sure you could sympathize. But we were walking around, and I got to speak with Ryan a little bit. I got to learn a little bit about who he was and what he did, as well as his wife. And they were just very, very welcoming people. When we were up there the first couple of days, because we spent about 2 weeks up there, but the first couple of days we were up there, they were giving us, food, like hors d'oeuvres. They were bringing out hummus, and they were bringing out party weenies and all this kind of stuff for us. They were just really, really cool, inviting people. And my favorite aspect of that whole job was, A, getting to go up to the mountains, because it's always a fun time, for work especially. And B, getting to hang out with the dog Thor. Thor is, I believe, a golden retriever. He's a big, big dog. If you follow us on Instagram or Facebook, you've probably seen a picture or video of him. He was in a couple of the videos. He was in the Big Bear Fire Loss series. So Thor, every time I went up there, he would run out the door, run out to the road against, maybe better judgment, jump up, kind of do this little dance with me. He'd give me his paws and stuff. He was a really, really, really cute dog. And Ryan was a super interesting guy. He was telling me about the businesses, I guess, plural. He had ran in the racing world, in the production world. He'd done all this kind of cool stuff. And like I said, it was just really cool, especially early on into my job here, into my career here, that somebody was that warm and that inviting and that, willing and open to communicate. And since then, I've stayed in touch with Ryan. I text him back and forth every now and then. We had a lot in common. We're both big fans of rock music, and we would talk about Big Bear and San Diego. He's got his other house down there, so we communicated a lot. But what that taught me, and kind of what that set the precedent for, was that we are not really in the business of restoration. We are obviously fire, water, mold, commercial duct cleaning, all that kind of stuff. We do all that stuff, sure. But that is not what our business is. Our business is relationships. And I learned that early on with this company, in that I could have gone up there and, totally ignored Ryan. I could have just kind of stayed by the workers' sides and just shot video and pictures quietly and kind of just, been a fly on the wall. But instead of that, I figured I'd try to, get to know him a little bit, try to soften the blow of the experience you've just been through, be kind of more human about things. So for me, that was a very cool learning experience, and I think that kind of set a bar. It set a high bar, if I'm being honest. It set a bar for the rest of my time here, where every time I go to a job now, or every time I go out to film, or every time I go out to take photos at a loss, where there's people there, because sometimes there's not. Sometimes they relocate temporarily to like a hotel or a motel. But if there's people there, I'll talk to them. I'll try to be friendly with them and kind of sympathize a little bit with their situation, because for us, it's a job, but for these people, it's their home, it's their business, it's this thing they've spent all this money, all this time, all this investment and care for. And it sucks when you have like a major water loss, or when you have mold, fire, any of that stuff. It sucks. It's really hard to deal with. So my takeaway from that, again, was set a high bar, but also be friendly, be human. Don't just go out there, do your work, and shut down. Every job we go to, I try to, again, be that guy, be human, make a connection, and just try to be friendly. So anyways, this is a quick podcast. There's not much more to that story. But I want to thank you guys for tuning in. I want to thank you guys for listening to this. This is just getting off the ground. We're still kind of working out a couple of kinks. We're trying to get everybody's schedules in sync, and we're trying to get more guests. It is hard right now with COVID-19, COVID-19. I wanted to call it COVID-20 for some reason. COVID-19 making everything difficult. So keep listening, keep tuning in. It'll only get better from here. Thank you guys so much. I will talk to you. Well, I will see you, hear you. You will hear me. I will film another episode. How about that? Next week, Friday at 1 p.m. It's going to be the standard time and day now. So moving forward, I hope you guys have a great day. And remember, set that bar high and be a human. See you later.